Hi everyone, welcome to the University of Lincoln Live Lounge. My name is Ellie Sampler and I'm one of your Live Lounge hosts tonight. And with me is the amazing...
I'm Emma Jubbs and welcome. Hello.
Hello Emma, thanks for having another night with us, and we are so excited. It's 1 week to go before our new cohort start their first virtual week with us, and not long to go before they actually arrive on campus. And there's been loads happening on campus, hasn't there, Emma?
There absolutely has, yeah. I mean, as you can see, I am on campus tonight. So I'm in the Isaac Newton building, and this is the massive Isaac Newton lecture theatre that, as you can see behind me, is all ready for our students so that we can have some face-to-face lectures in here. But as I've walked around campus, there is all sorts of things happening. So there's full of all sorts of activity waiting for you to arrive.
And I do believe that our medical students actually did their induction in the Isaac Newton Lecture Theatre last week. And we'll be talking to Jordan later on tonight, who will be telling us exactly what that was like. We'll be speaking to Bailey shortly as well from our Students' Union. And Emma, I think we've got some other guests coming up as well.
We've got the lovely Zoe, who is from our wellbeing department. So Zoe's going to sort of explain all the things that we've been putting into place for our students, the things that we would normally be putting in to support our students, but also the additional things ready for this October.
No, that's brilliant. And thanks very much to everyone who's already sending us messages. Hi to Joshua, Laura, Eugenio, Becky. It's really nice to see you there. Becky, that is such a good question, because one of the things we have to do today is remind everyone that you really must enroll. You really must engage with enrollment. And so, Emma, do you want to give a few tips on how people engage with enrollment?
Absolutely, yes. So you will already, if you've already got placed with us, you'll already have received communication from our student admin team. And on there is the links that you can start and commence your enrolment process. If you have any issues or you've not got that, then please contact us on enquiries@lincoln.ac.uk and we can connect you with that.
And before we answer any more questions, I am going to introduce producer Darren, who is responsible for putting up these really helpful messages that arrive below us. Hello, producer Darren. How are you this evening?
I'm very good, thanks. Yeah, really good. Excited for this live lounge. Yeah, I do all the fancy graphics at the bottom of the screen. I've got the easy job tonight.
You never have the easy job tonight, Darren. You have to make all of this work. Goodness no. And I mean, tell us a little bit about you, Darren. Tell us a little bit about who you are, because I think it's great because you're one of our alumnus.
Yeah, so I studied at the University of Lincoln a few years ago now, probably longer than a few years ago. I'm growing old very quickly, I feel. But no, I graduated in 2014. I studied film and TV and loved every minute of it. Loved it so much that you won't get rid of me, because now I work here and I get to do fancy stuff like this and get to talk to students and applicants on a daily basis. It's brilliant.
And you are amazing, Darren. You do so many amazing things. And no, we're really lucky to have you. So I'm going to get you to stay with Emma and I for a moment and help us answer some of these questions. Paige and Mandy and Maisie, all with the same question. Hello, and I think we can answer it. Emma, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first place to go, Paige and Maisie, is to our website. So if you go to our website, which is Get Ready for Lincoln, and if you go into that, then there is the timetable. Your induction timetable is there. So your timetable for next week is there. There's sort of like a drop down so that you can choose your subject and all of the weeks. So there's a mix of pre-recorded sort of virtual stuff and live virtual stuff like this to entertain you all week. I've looked at several subjects and actually it's absolutely action-packed all week.
Yeah, it does look really exciting, but obviously just to get you ready for actually joining us here on campus. And Darren, do you want to say some of the things that we've spotted going on campus?
Yeah, so some of the things already which you can't miss are the TPs, really. I think there's 2 now on campus and they're huge. I can't wait, because normally we get a nice Christmas themed TP in the centre of town every Christmas, and it's just bringing that festive theme early for me. I love it, and yeah, I think it's going to be a really nice place for staff and students to just relax between lectures, after lectures, before studying, and just give you that extra safe space to be able to chill with friends, because it's such a key point to come into university, I think, and yeah, thankfully we've been able to deliver those things, which I think will really benefit students.
Yeah, and it's really exciting at the moment because it's such a sunny time here in Lincoln. I don't know if you can see behind me. That's the City of Lincoln. I'm in one of our buildings. I'm actually in the Vice Chancellor's office, and what you can see is what a beautiful evening it is here. It's absolutely lovely. So we are definitely going to be living a sort of outdoor culture. We've got loads of outdoor space, even though we're right in the heart of the city. On the campus, there is lots of space, and there's lots of outdoor catering units. So we can actually go out, get a coffee, get a drink, get something to eat. And there's a downloadable app that I'm sure Bailey, our student, will be talking about later on. So it's very easy to go out, meet up with people, and have something to eat and drink. Emma, did you want to pick up the question from Emily?
Yeah, I can do. When can you book your moving in slots? So there will be communication, Emily. I'm pretty certain there'll be more than just you wanting to ask that very question this week. There is an email that is due to go out, and it will definitely reach you before this week. Before the end of this week. One of the key points of that is if you're sort of fairly local, so if you're within the East Midlands, the request that we're asking is that you avoid the 12 to 3 slots. So those people that are travelling much further are not getting up in the middle of the night or getting home in the middle of the night. But those emails will be going out, and you will be receiving those by the end of this week.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And it's probably time for us to be moving on, isn't it? You're going to correct me if I get the timings wrong, aren't you, Emma? Because I thank you. I nearly got it very wrong last time. So I think it's time to say goodbye to producer Darren. Thank you so much. And we will be asking for your help. There are so many questions coming through that if we don't answer your question, we'll get producer Darren to try and pick that up. Is that okay, Darren?
Yeah, it sounds brilliant.
Just quickly, Ellie, sorry. Can I just say we have got a Slido Q&A happening at the same time tonight. So there is a team of experts answering your questions or can answer your questions. So if myself and Ellie don't get to them today, go onto the Slido chat, and that is happening until 7 o'clock. So 5 till 7. So please don't worry. There will be an opportunity to get your answer.
Yes, and for some of those course-specific questions, that's probably a better idea, really, isn't it, Emma?
Yes, because we've got teams from all the colleges, so they will have much more detail than me and you, Ellie.
Yes, definitely. There are a lot of courses, though, in our defence, Emma. And how do people get into the Slido Q&A?
So if you go onto our website, then there is a link on our website. If you go onto lincoln.ac.uk, and then it's there on the homepage, and you can connect there.
Yeah. Okay. No, I will pick up on 2 questions that I spotted. Grace asked whether or not she'd be able to go home during term time. At the moment, as far as we know, there's nothing that would stop you going home during term time. And from the minister's speech at lunchtime today, the anticipation is that students will probably be able to go home at Christmas, so long as you quarantine before you go, and we will obviously help you with that to make sure that anyone who wants to go home for Christmas can go home. Lara, you're asking what's the likelihood of accommodation lockdowns, and that's a really difficult question to answer. There's no lockdowns at the moment. We're hoping that we've got everything in place to keep us all safe, and students really are at the heart of all our thinking and planning. So fingers crossed. No, thank you, Grace, and a big hello to Lauren and Holly and everyone else who's here with us tonight. Emma, do you want to introduce Bailey?
Yeah, so we're going to say bye to Darren for now, and hello to Bailey. Bailey is from our Students' Union and is absolutely exhausted before most of the students have arrived, I feel. But that's because you're working extremely hard for our students, isn't it, Bailey?
That is right. Yeah, we've been working pretty much tirelessly all summer in anticipation for you guys to return. So we just want to make sure that we can provide you guys the best possible welcome week events and first term that we possibly can. So we're changing what we're doing as soon as government guidance changes to make sure it's all safe and within government guidance as well. So we're doing our best.
You're doing amazingly. I mean, I know there was the outdoor cinema, and I know there have been a number of sort of face-to-face quizzes, and I know that Russell Kane is due up soon. But what else has been going on, Bailey? How's this week gone?
So the med students came back and their early arrivals and international students as well. So we put on a week's worth of events for those students, and they went really, really well. The quiz on Monday was amazing to actually have people safely, socially distanced, but face-to-face, 2 meters apart face-to-face. But to actually be able to have that social sort of activity going on campus was just brilliant after a summer of basically not seeing anybody. And then we had the cinema screening, and we had a Feel Good Friday event in Towers, which is our on-campus bar. And then on Saturday, I actually got up and it was raining and it was windy and it was horrible, but ran some walking tours for students to show you guys where like Wilco was, all the main stuff you need to know, pretty much where Wilco was, where the cathedral is, and where the nearest bar is. So yeah, just lots and lots of stuff going on. And then we have loads of stuff for when you guys return. So from like the 5th, we've got loads of online events because you're not going to be here yet. And then as soon as you do come on the 10th, 11th, we've got a whole week of in-person events as well, including like the comedy night of Russell Kane and just lots and lots of stuff. Very excited. Crazy golf, arcades, loads of fun stuff.
Chloe had asked a question about how would she be able to sort of take part in events and how would she make friends. Have you got any top tips, Bailey?
Yes, I do have top tips. So there will be social events. Hi, Chloe. Yes, there will be social events, and you are more than welcome to come to any of them. Obviously, I'll probably be there, so I'll be a friendly face to start with. But yeah, we've got loads of stuff going on. So we have things that you can get involved in, so societies. We're encouraging them to go online for the first term, so no matter what happens, like you'll be able to get involved with societies. We have over 150 sports and societies, so please get involved with those. Pretty much any interest that you have, we have a society for it, and if we don't, you can start one up, which is the beauty of the SU. I did that in my second year, so I know how that works. And then we have the campaigns network as well, so if you're interested or passionate about any issues like women's rights or BAME issues, literally anything, disabilities, LGBT plus, anything, you can get involved with like a little campaigns group and put on campaigns and be activists, and there's loads and loads to get involved in, but you can find it all on lincolnsu.com, so please browse that. But yeah, lots and lots of stuff, and all our welcome week events are on there as well, so take a look and book some tickets.
So Bailey, I have to ask you, what was the group you started in the second year?
Oh, I started Wildlife Conservation Society to raise money for endangered animals.
Wow, that's amazing. No, that is really amazing. No, that reminds me, I don't know if I told you, but we're planning another session with Chris Packham, actually, and I'm trying to remember when that is. I think it's in November, is that right? Just after Autumn Watch. And we wanted you to interview him.
Yes.
Would you do that? Yeah. No, that'd be really good. It should be really exciting, and I'm hoping he's going to do it live from his house. So we did think about maybe going down there, but anyway, we'll pick that up later. Sorry, everyone. It was just Bailey mentioning that reminded me that was a really important thing. And I mean, how excited should students be about starting here with us?
So excited. I'm biased because I was part of the SU like before I became a sabbatical officer, and now I actually work here, so I'm entirely biased, so declaring that now. But we seriously worked so hard to make sure that you guys will still get the best experience that you could possibly get. And as well, if you have any ideas of what you'd want us to do, as long as it's within government guidance, we'll try and make it happen for you. Like, we're genuinely like you should be excited, because I'm excited. I'm very excited, and I've seen the risk assessments, which are extensive, but I'm still excited. So yeah, please get involved. Just get involved.
You've done everything you can to make it safe. And Joshua Connor, hello. You said you were a sabbatical at Dundee University. And are there any opportunities to get involved in student representation here at Lincoln?
Absolutely. That is quite literally why student unions exist, to represent students on like your academic things, housing things, welfare, everything. So Lucy, the Vice President of Wellbeing and Community, has recently set up a wellbeing network, and she has lots of volunteer opportunities at the moment for mental, physical and sexual health. I chair the campaigns network, like I said, with LGBT officer, environmental officer, women's officer, disabilities officer. We have lots and lots of reps as well. So if you want to be a rep, obviously get involved in that. And that's like educational reps, so course reps, school reps, college reps, lots and lots to get involved in, lots.
No, it does sound really good. And I mean, have you got any advice for people who are going to be joining us in the next week or so, Bailey?
Yeah, get in touch, to be honest. We are here, the 5 sabbatical teams in your whole people, and your whole union are here to support you. So if you need anything, we've got the advice centre, advice@lincolnsu.com. If you need anything advice-wise, or if you just want a chat, I'm here. We're literally here, elected by you to run your student union. So anything you need, anything you want, information that you need, just let us know.
How do they do that, Bailey? How do they do that?
So we have
a form to do that.
We, on our website, lincolnsu.com, we'll have all 5 sabbatical officer, myself and the other 4 leaders. We'll have all our contact information. So we have Instagrams, Twitters, emails as well. And then we actually have a Lincoln SU WhatsApp, which might be the easiest way to get in touch with us. Just drop us a message or give us a call. But if you're in doubt about where to go to find information, help@lincolnsu.com is the email you need to go to, and they will point you in whatever direction you need to go.
Thank you. Thanks ever so much. And before you go, Bailey, I always ask you this, but how are the otters doing outside the Students' Union?
I haven't seen them for a couple of weeks, actually. I think they're hiding from me because it's got colder. But yes, they are still, I do believe they're still there, swimming around right by the SU building in the river there. And the other week I saw a cormorant, which excited me quite a lot, which is a bird, if anybody doesn't know, which got me quite excited. But lots of wildlife on campus for me to look at and for you when you come in a couple of weeks.
And Andre is asking, how big is the Afro-Caribbean Society?
I'm not sure how big it is. I know that we have one. I know that you can sign up as a member. We have our sports societies, campaigns, university fairs, all starting from the 5th of October, which you can find on our website. So you can flick through and find all the societies. So you'll find more information about ACS on there. But you can also just get in touch with them on their social media if you search for them. And I'm sure they'd love to speak to you.
Oh, Bailey, thank you so much. And thank you for spending so much time with us tonight. It's lovely to see you always. We're going to say goodbye and move on because I think we're going to speak to Zoe from our student admin team. So I'll say goodbye, good night, have a lovely evening and take care.
Bye. Bye, Bailey. So we're now going to speak to Zoe. Hi, Zoe. Hi, Zoe. So Zoe.
Hi,
Zoe's
good evening.
From our wellbeing team, tell us, Zoe, what your team do, just so that everybody, if they want to ask you a question, they know what the team does.
Sure. So we can help with any aspect of wellbeing. So whether a student might already have an existing diagnosis and want help and support during their studies, or whether they just want help with emotional support whilst here, help with that transition into university. So, you know, preparing them for that changes that's due to happen for them, and you know, we're just here and available at any point during their studies should any issue arise and they don't know who to talk to. We're just here and available to help.
That's lovely. So it's all of the support that's not academic almost.
Absolutely, yeah. So we always say emotional and psychological support, but that sounds a bit a bit much, doesn't it? But just here for a chat. Often people don't know where to go, do they? They just want to come and have a chat and say, I'm really struggling with this, actually, don't know where to go. And we've got a wealth of resources available. We do like to help and support people, help them with those self-help, support first. What can you do to build that resilience up yourself? What can we do? And then obviously, if it needs further help, we can refer out to our own counselling team, whether it might be help within the community, local resources and local support networks. So a lot that we've got and a lot that we do to help support students during their time here.
And as part of that support and part of that has been your WOW week. So you've done some face-to-face with students already. So tell us about that. When was that?
Oh, it was hugely exciting, actually. It was a couple of weeks ago. It's a wellbeing orientation welcome, or our WOW transitional summer school, which is for any student who may feel a little nervous about that transition into higher education. We initially wanted to have 80 students, but of course lockdown hit and things changed a little bit. But we were very lucky to be able to provide a socially distanced summer school for 42 students on campus. And it went fantastically well. And it was lovely to have folks here. It felt vibrant, it felt buzzy again, to have students around. And it went really well. Friendship groups were made. We provided a full programme of events, both social, and then got to meet their academic face-to-face, socially distanced, but face-to-face. And we were blessed with really lovely weather as well, like it is this evening, Ellie. So yeah, it went wonderfully well. Thank you. Yeah, really enjoyable.
That's amazing. And you've been working. Do. I sound like I'm echoing. Am I echoing? I am. So sorry about that.
You are echoing, yeah. It's all right, Emma. I don't think it's you. It's fine. But I think you were saying Zoe's been working incredibly hard, I think, since back in March, getting ready for everyone joining us in the next couple of weeks. So what sort of things have you been doing, Zoe?
Well, the team have been preparing. As soon as things changed for us and we moved from quite so much face-to-face, we've put everything available online as well. So all of our resources are now available in digital formats. We hold our really popular workshops and skills-based groups we're able to provide online as well, such as the Manuel support group, which has been going fantastically well. So we're prepared and we are ready for the students coming, and it actually means we can make things more accessible. So, the provision of our services and the support and resources that we have is accessible to more students because it's more readily available and we're able to provide it a lot easier. So as well as having, the element of face-to-face, in that we're going to have a centralised hub within the Minerva building on campus. So we will have colleagues there to be able to signpost students effectively to the most appropriate help and support.
Yeah, no, that's really useful. I'm just going to pick up a question that's coming up the side because we've had it a couple of times. So we're bringing my daughter up on the 11th to her accommodation at Lincoln. Can we turn up any time, and can both parents take her stuff in and settle her in? Hi, Nicola, and thank you for the question, and Lorna as well. Emma, do you want to see if you can answer that and see if we can get through the echo challenge?
Yeah, sorry if I do sound amazingly echoey, but what we're saying is, the advice we're giving is that if at all possible, can just one friend or family member accompany the student to actually move into the room. And we are going to send out, the accommodation team are going to send out by the end of this week a moving in slot. And you will be able to book a slot and a time slot to be able to move in very safely to the accommodation. So it is not just, unfortunately, turning up at any point on the 11th. At this point, it's the 11th, which is great. It's the Sunday, but there'll be further information coming out by the end of the week as to which sort of time slot you will have. And the actual physical moving in to the room, ideally, we just want one person with the actual student.
Now, although the thing is, I understand from speaking to our head of accommodation that you can all come with your daughter. So your other children, your husband, anyone, friends, family, you can come, but only one person can go in with her at the time. So it might be that one goes in and then one goes out, and then someone, because we know you'll all want to see it. But we're just marshalling numbers for safety. And Zoe, you'll probably want to say a few words on how important it is just to make sure that we're COVID safe and we adhere to government guidance on everything.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know that ourselves in student wellbeing, we've got all our visors ready. There's screens ready. We're ready and prepared, and as are the accommodation team as well. I know within their office, and students would be advised and recommended to wear their masks in all the communal areas as well. So hand sanitizers everywhere. I mean, the campus feels fantastically safe. You know, all the one-way systems, that was all trial during our WOW summer school. So I'm absolutely sure that students will all feel safe, and as we're all adhering to those government guidelines, you know, it's going to become easier for us as we all do it. And WOW was a true test of that, and it went well, and the students reported it felt great as well. So I'm sure all students will feel safe when they join us in a couple of weeks.
And I'm going to say hi to Hugh. You missed so much that we can't possibly tell you how much you missed, but it was really good. You missed our student union rep, Bailey, who was fabulous. But I am going to ask Zoe. Zoe, how excited are you about students starting in the next couple of weeks? And what tips do you have for students and parents who are getting ready to come?
Well, we're really excited. You know, we've had that bit of a summer break now, but of course it's felt much longer, hasn't it, with everything going on. So the team are excited, and I know that all colleagues are within the university to welcome the students back to campus again and have it vibrant and have that buzz about it. We'd just recommend, particularly from a wellbeing point of view, and just to pick up on, I think it was Joshua's message within the chat there, how do they register pre-existing conditions? So if any student does have a diagnosis or is receiving support and they want that to continue, please get in touch with us. You know, we do try through UCAS, sometimes if a student discloses that, we try and get in touch with those students in good time. But it's not too late, absolutely not. That's what we're here for. So please get in touch. You can get in touch with Student Wellbeing through our general email, which is studentwellbeing@lincoln.ac.uk, and we can provide you with that support. So we can talk through everything, Joshua, ask about what you've currently had support-wise, and then make recommendations and discuss what we can do here. And just, you know, for parents and students, just, you know, yeah, well, I mean, to talk about a list of every I wouldn't know, because my list would be huge. But yeah, just be ready to look out for particularly our team, because we've got a presence during that, what we like to call moving weekend, moving Sunday. Our team is there and available to answer any questions, because sometimes, you know, it's an emotional time, students are excited, and sometimes it's actually the family that can become quite emotional, you know, to say goodbye. So we're excited just to welcome you and to see you, but we're also there quietly in the background to offer that support should you need it. So, you know, think about what you might need to bring, think about keeping in contact as well. One of the things I did want to mention tonight is we always talk about the 5 ways to well-being, and those are, you know, be active, give, connect, keep learning, and take notice. And even during these times, we can still do those things, and connect is really, really huge. And I think for everybody's health and mental health during these times, that connections, keeping in touch, reaching out when folks need to, will just be really key. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Thank you. And I've swapped over to a different screen, so I apologise for looking different there. And if that threw you, I'm really sorry. I wanted to go back to Joshua's question. I don't know if you picked up on that, Zoe. How do we register existing conditions?
Yeah, Zoe's picked up on that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thrown out of the studio.
It's all right.
I'm so sorry.
Should we just pick up on Nicola's point? Yes, there is a lift, but it is very limited. There is a lift in all of the sort of, well, our accommodation, there are lifts. So there is a lift, and we're asking that you sort of get in and out of the lift fairly swiftly. But absolutely, Nicola, I know that would hinge on my decision as well as a helper.
Well, there are going to be lift queues. I was talking to the accommodation team, and we've got cages to go in the lift, so we can literally load everything from the car into the cage, put cage into the lift, and we've got people to manage lift queues to make sure we make it as easy as possible.
And should we just say hello to John? And it's nice that he's returning to say hello to us as an alumni of the University of Lincoln. So that's lovely. Hi, John.
Yeah, no, it's really, really lovely to meet John. And we should probably move on because we've got Jordan, who's a second year student here. She's studying medicine and she's been here for just over a week, so she can tell us a little bit. I'm just going to pick up on Holly's question though, because quite a few people are asking when the timetables, the specific timetables, not just the induction timetables, are coming out. What we're being told, I've asked producer Darren to double check this, is that you should have them around a week or 2 weeks in advance of the course. Obviously, a huge amount of work is going into those timetables because, as you can see behind Emma, every single room has had to be reconfigured to make it COVID safe and in adherence with government guidelines. And because we're trying to do as much face-to-face as we can, it has been quite a challenge. So please be patient. You should have those timetables very, very soon. Your induction timetable, Holly, you can find on the Get Ready for Lincoln page. So I'll ask Emma to explain where that is, if that's okay.
So if you go onto our website, then we've got a page that's called Get Ready for Lincoln. And on that page gives you your induction week for next week. And you can drop down subject by subject. So you choose the course that you're about to study, and it will give you a full week, daily, Monday to Friday, of activities, a mix of pre-record and sort of virtual activities like this. And I think we had a question earlier about somebody who works nights and they might not be available in the day for the time slots, but that's the beauty of virtual learning. That means you can go back and watch it when you are about to watch it. So there are some positives out of this virtual world.
Well, it's something that one of our students, Will, was saying last week. Because we use Panopto and all of our lectures are recorded, it does mean that a lot of students choose to use that material to re-look at lectures again and again and again. And that makes it really easy. So it's really good to have that. Lucy asked, are students going to have in-person practicals, i.e. labs? Do you want to take that one, Emma?
Yeah, so where possible, there is going to be some lab practicals. I was going to say experiments, but that sounds a bit like you're at school still, doesn't it? So there is going to be some practicals. Obviously, again, I think we chatted to Will, who's our medical student, last week, and he was sort of saying he'd had an anatomy lecture already. So there was going to be some practicals. Absolutely. Again, smaller numbers. Probably slightly longer timetables, but as a first year that won't bother you. But there is going to be some in-person practicals. Yeah, it's a really, really key part of some of the science programs. Absolutely.
Yeah, and also, there's the pedagogic benefits of in-person practicals, but also the pastoral care, isn't there, Zoe, where actually spending time with people and learning is facilitated by that face-to-face activity. And I know that's something that you advocate very strongly.
Oh, sorry, Ellie. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we talked about, those connections are huge, aren't they? And we whilst people will be able to have that virtual element of being able to study, it can't take away from that seeing people, or even in this format, in this video format, it's something, isn't it? It's something a bit more tangible, and that connection is really huge. So we would always sort of champion that and push that for students as much as possible.
Oh, Zoe, thank you so much for joining us. Sorry, Emma, what were you going to say?
I just wondered if there was it's worth, before we move to speak to Jordan, if it's worth just picking up on Cody's question about those students that are feeling a bit anxious about going to face-to-face seminars. So there's always going to be a mix of people that are desperate to have that face-to-face support, but also those people that are going to feel a little bit anxious. I wonder if you could sort of answer that one, Zoe.
Definitely, we'd just say definitely get in touch with us, Cody. We're here to help and support you. If you do feel like that, and we understand that there will be folks that may have pre-existing conditions or may feel like this at the current situation. We have some fantastic resources around health anxiety and ways to manage it and strategies around that, and we can put you in touch with different teams or look at Together All as well, which is a team that we work with, 24/7 dedicated online support. They do some really great self-guided online workshops, particularly around health anxiety. So lots we can do. We can put you in touch with a wellbeing advisor. Well, that's what we're here for, Cody. We'd say definitely reach out to us.
Thank you. Thank you ever so much, Zoe, for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure to spend some time with you. And I'm sure all of our viewers and everyone who's engaged with us has enjoyed talking to you. So thank you. So we'll say good night, Zoe, and have a lovely evening.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's lovely to see you. Really lovely. And we're going to welcome Jordan. Yay.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Very good.
Oh, well, we're really good, aren't we, Emma? How are you, Emma?
I am so excited to see that Jordan's got her university sweatshirt on. I have to be honest, that makes me very happy.
It's mainly made out of recycled bottles. We were really keen. We've been doing hoodies for students who come to Lincoln for a long time, and it's obviously, hopefully everyone here has received one. It's your welcome, and we call it our hug in a bag, because you're now part of Lincoln. We're your new home from home, and you can find each other very easily. But this one is 100% recycled, and I'm trying to remember how much was it? 40% recycled bottles.
This says 100% recycled bottles and cotton, from waste to well loved.
That's you. That's you, Jordan. You make it well loved. So tell us about you, Jordan. What you're studying? How's your first week gone?
So it's my second year here in Lincoln, but I'm technically on my first year of the course because I did a foundation year in medicine last year. This week, as you can imagine, has been very different to what it was like last year. I did have in-person sessions. I was actually sat where Emma is currently, in the Isaac Newton building, having lectures there last week. Had a variety of in-person sessions, including practicals as well as the lectures. So first week's definitely been busy. Had lots of opportunities to meet my new course mates, because I've gone from a course of 19 people to now a course of, I think, 103. So that's been really good. We've been running split sessions, so every session we had was duplicated to accommodate social distancing, because the Isaac Newton building normally could seat a lot more than what it currently can due to all the restrictions. As you can see, so behind Emma with all the stickers on the chairs. We had practicals in different rooms where we normally had some clinical skills in the Sarah Swift building in the actual clinical skills suites, and we were actually in the sports hall last week in 4 groups doing all our clinical skills there in a very spread out way to maintain all our social distancing. It's been a really good week, very busy and very different from what it was last year.
It does sound really exciting. I know you did clinical skills, and I think you did anatomy as well, didn't you?
And not me personally. So the second years they went straight back to their teaching last Monday. But for me, as the first year, I had the welcome week first. That's what all of my last week was, all the introductory stuff.
Oh, brilliant. And what was your favourite bit? What's the highlight so far?
My favourite bit with regards to content would have to be the clinical skills, actually doing stuff on models. But also just getting the chance to meet everyone now, being back on campus. It's been, I think we went into lockdown online teaching back in March. This is the first time we've actually been back on campus and seeing each other for 6 months now. So it's been absolutely lovely to both see my old friends and meet new people, because it was something that we weren't sure how it would be. Was it going to be totally online, or was I actually going to be able to see people? And I can. So it's been absolutely wonderful to actually see different faces again instead of being stuck inside like
I know exactly what you mean. When Emma and I first saw each other again after not seeing each other since the beginning of lockdown for a couple of months, we got quite squeaky, didn't we? Like, woo!
It's very surreal, isn't it, seeing people again?
It is. So I know I asked you this earlier, and maybe it's a bit of an embarrassing question, but have you made any new friends? And
yeah, so I have. So through our course, we're separate into smaller groups and smaller groups and smaller groups again. So I think it's 3 tiers of groups. But I've had the chance to actually go and do some study sessions with another course mate. So today I was round there, sat in one of their rooms just doing some coursework, which is something we weren't sure we'd be able to do with the whole rule of 6. But as long as someone's apartment doesn't exceed 6, they could have a visitor. So if there's 5 of them in there, they could have 1 person. So I was able to actually go and see someone today that I had never met before until last week, and it was absolutely lovely, because I wasn't sure if that was going to be something that I could do, if I'd have to be sat here doing my lectures every day. But no, there was definitely a chance to meet people, and I've definitely made lots of new friends.
Oh, that sounds brilliant. And what about the social life? Because I know the SU have tried really, really hard to make loads and loads of face-to-face sort of activities. And you know, we are really, really, really committed to the student experience at Lincoln. It's what we're really proud of. So we want it to be really, really good. And what's it been like, would you say?
It's been great. So for me, I'm part of the MedSOC, and we had lots of events that we wanted to have go ahead in the first week, but couldn't because of all the new restrictions. But the SU stepped in and ran so many events, which was spoken about earlier by Bailey, how all these events that have still been ran in person. So the big quiz that happened, the outdoor cinema nights. There's also been virtual events as well, but obviously the in-person ones are the ones that we weren't sure would be able to go ahead at all. It's been absolutely great. So for my society as well, we have medic families. So they're small enough groups, they kept it as less than 6, meaning that we were able to go out for dinner one night last week to actually meet our new medic family. So for me, I have a child in the year below and a parent in the year above, as well as a sister in my year. So there's so many chances to socialise both as part of the SU. They've done so much, it's been absolutely wonderful. And the societies as well. So everyone's definitely pulling together to make sure we are still having as good an experience as we can, given the times that we're in.
Yeah, thank you. And in terms of people who haven't yet arrived here in Lincoln, is there any advice that you give in terms of what to bring, what not to bring? What top tips would you give?
So obviously, aside from all that, everything that's going on, when you're moving into your student room, I would say moving in, try and make it homely. That's a big tip for me. So for me, I didn't bring any photographs with me when I moved in last year, and it meant that my room just felt a bit blank. I have space to put mine up still. I haven't actually put them up in my new place, which is a bit hypocritical given what I've just said. But I do have them. So I think tip for moving in, make sure you make your space feel like home, because at the end of the day, it is going to be your home for at least a year if you don't change your accommodation. And also definitely get the chance to know your flatmates, course mates, everything. You know, we have things like WhatsApp, Facebook, where we can talk to our course mates and flatmates before we even move in. And that is such a valuable thing you can do, especially given the circumstances at the moment. So you can actually make a support bubble before you move in. But when you do move in as well, like, your flatmates are going to be some people that are there for you all year. And I definitely recommend using them to talk to and get to know them, because they are incredibly valuable.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. And I know there's quite a lot of mums and dads watching tonight. And I wonder, is there any advice you'd give to mums and dads?
For me, I FaceTimed my family a lot when I first moved in. But it was never a case of my family were... Initially, it was definitely a case of, oh, do you want to call us? But I think I was very busy when I first moved in, and I was very much swept away with everything that was going on at university. I've just moved out. Everything is so incredibly different that some nights, it sounds horrible, but I almost forgot about home. I didn't feel homesick. I was just so busy meeting these new flats, like all these new flatmates. But I think definitely still be there, because I think everyone will have a little bit of a wobble at some point. Me personally, mine fell a bit later on in the term, whereas most people say it's in the first few weeks. But definitely say be there for your child 100%. But definitely respect the fact that this is a massive change. You might get a little bit busy when you first move in, meeting all these new people and settling into a hugely new experience. But definitely expect cooking help. Asking Helen how to cook things, that will happen.
No, that sounds really good. I'm going to answer a couple of questions very quickly. So, are we able to have guests in our accommodation? I do apologise, Greg, because you've asked this a couple of times. The answer is no, I'm afraid. You can't have guests stay overnight in your accommodation, in your student accommodation, because your student accommodation is your bubble. And in a way, this links into Lucy's question about Jordan crossing over with several families. You're in different bubbles. So you have to stay within your bubble, and you can't cross the bubble, but you can be a member of different bubbles. I don't know if I've explained that very well. Emma, did that make any sense at all?
It did to me, but that's probably because I know you.
What I could add into that is that lots of people have been housed together on people that run their courses. So like Lucy said, it seems I'm crossing over lots of families, but these are all people that are on my course who I've spent this whole week with, sat, say, in lecture theatres and everything. So I'm not mixing with people that I've never met before and I'm not going to see again. They are people that have run my course, or people that all live together within the course. So the university's done it in a way that means there is as limited mixing as possible. because they understand that not every single medic is going to choose the same place to live, but we're also equally still going to see each other because we're doing classes together. So it's definitely been in a very good way.
Yeah, it's true. And Lara, you're saying, how do you plan on helping students with mental health issues if we're forced to isolate for 2 weeks, even if we're not symptomatic? Remember, if you are isolating, you'll be isolating with your bubble. So you'll be with your flatmates who will also all be isolating with you. And what I can say is that we've got all sorts of things in place. So there's virtual activities to keep you entertained as well, and things like this in a way, not with me and Emma, obviously, but by the Students' Union. But also we've got food delivery services ready to go and all sorts of support. We've got online support that Zoe was talking about for anyone who just wants to talk or who wants specific advice and support. And there is a lot in place, isn't there, Emma?
There is, yeah. So I really wouldn't worry. That's what we've been spending since March, sort of preparing for, because if we've learnt anything, it's been prepared and been sort of ready for the unpredictable almost. And that's what we've been working tirelessly for the last 6 months to ensure that we are making your experience, whether it's in isolation or into sort of lectures, that's what we're working to do, and the support is there for you.
I mean, would you add anything to that, Jordan? Because you're sort of living it, you're sort of here experiencing it.
It's definitely, as I say, there's lots to do, still a chance to see people, but if isolation is a concern I've had, to be honest. And there's another question I've seen actually at the same time, which I can tie into this, is Hannah's question about those of us in studios. I was in a studio last year, so again, I was worried about being isolating before you even thought about having to self-isolate. But there's definitely so much support available. Me last year, so I stayed here during lockdown and I was in a studio. So I was locked down in my studio, and I actually had fortnightly calls from my personal tutors in the medical school, just to make sure I was okay, just to have chats. And they could have been more frequent if I wanted them to be, but we went for fortnightly just to see how things were going. But there's support networks all over the place. You almost don't realise exist until you're there, until you're here. You don't realise they exist. So for me, I knew I had to meet my personal tutor a certain number of times a year. I knew I could talk if I needed to, but actually being able to schedule something fortnightly wasn't something I'd almost considered as something that could be done. And support networks are definitely all over the place. I've used student wellbeing myself as well. They're lovely in there. If you ever need anything, they're more than happy to help you. They enjoy helping you. They are there for that. And so there's support networks everywhere that you really won't realise until you're here. So I wouldn't worry about it, because there's so much available.
And I will just pick up on Hazel's question. How do we get our prescriptions if you're isolating? And what we did in the last period of lockdown was we delivered them. So we had a team of staff who went and delivered all prescriptions and food that was required across campus. So we're well prepared for hopefully anything that could happen. That's what we've tried to do. And as Emma says, that's what we've been working really, really hard on since March, to try and make sure it's as good as it can be. And that's why we're starting slightly later. We wanted to make sure we had time to make it really, really good. Aidan, I'm so sorry. I think this is your third time of asking this question. Are all sports societies still planning on going ahead? So I'm going to let Emma answer that one.
Oh, I knew you were going to do that. Aidan, what I would suggest is you go onto our Slido, and so you've got more of an in-depth answer. But yes, in essence, if the sport is able to happen, and as we know, some sports are able to happen in this sort of time, some aren't. So if within government guidance it is available to happen, then yes, it's very much part of student wellbeing and your experience as a student. So if it is able to happen, we will make it happen. All of the signing up to all of the sports societies, as Bailey mentioned earlier, is all online. So go on to Lincoln SU. That might be wrong, but Darren will help me out here. And that's where you can sign up, and that's where you'll get more information.
Yeah, and it's the virtual fair starting on the 5th. where you can join. And even if they can't actually do physical sports, there will be virtual online get-togethers and meetings. So it's the virtual fair that you really need to do. And yeah, you can work in the library, definitely. The library is fabulous. I don't know if you've seen our library page, but it's beautiful. It's 4 floors. It's packed full of fabulous resources. Jordan, I think you were going to come in there.
Yeah, I've been in myself last week picking up books. So the library's all sorted out social distancing. So there used to be computers of 3 in a row. They've taken out the middle one to keep all your distancing in. They have a click and collect service if you simply would need a book, but you are still able to go in and use a self-service. But the only ones open at the moment are on the ground floor. That's just so they're the easiest ones there to be able to be sanitized. It's easy to be monitored, essentially, instead of all the ones on the floors. Everything's still available. And for dropping off books now, you don't even have to go into the library. They have a drop-off just at the door as you go into before you go through the barriers, which is also really convenient if you click and collected and forgotten your student ID card, which you need to get into the library. You don't actually have to go through the barriers, which is incredibly useful because I did do that last week. The library's definitely there to be used, so wouldn't worry about that. It's all open as normal. I think it's going back to 24 hours when all the links are because at the moment I think it's 9 till midnight, but it will be changing back to 24 hours as normal.
Yeah, it'll go 24/7 soon. And Jordan, what's your favourite thing to do in Lincoln? What do you like about Lincoln?
So last year I said definitely elements of socialising that I could do with friends. Over lockdown, when I was here, I enjoyed actually. Lincoln's a very odd place because it almost suddenly ends and you have vast expanses of fields and forests. So for your daily walks, I ended up exploring parts of Lincoln I never knew existed. But definitely be able to for me, definitely the socialising, but also the cathedral. You cannot ignore the cathedral at all. It's an absolutely wonderful place. If you get a chance to go up there, definitely go and look at it. I think lots of people do when they come for an open day anyway, but I couldn't really give an exact favourite things. There's so many different things I can do. But no, there's a variety of things. And yeah.
The cathedral is amazing, isn't it? It's kind of like Hogwarts up at the top of the hill there. It's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Emma, what were you going to say?
No, just the same. When Jordan was just sort of saying about sort of exploring into sort of green space around Lincoln, I've discovered, and I've lived here all my life, and I've discovered new green space in and around Lincoln, which is literally in walking distance of the campus that I never knew existed until sort of this period. So it's so many positives to actually get outside.
Yeah, I think you can probably see some behind me. I don't know if you can see the Brayford and some of the trees around the Brayford, and there's loads of ducks and swans cracking around me at the moment, but it's really stunning. It's a lovely place to be. Now, I know we've overrun, and I'm surprised you're not telling me off, Emma. I'm waiting for producer Darren to turn up and say it's time to stop. So it probably falls to me to say a massive thank you to Jordan. It's so kind of you to give up your time. And I don't know about you, Emma, I've really enjoyed it.
I have, yeah, it's really nice. It's so lovely to speak to different people around the university, and especially because Lincoln is so proud of our students. So talking to you, Jordan, is so lovely. So thank you. Thank you.
And I will just say to Hannah Bright, hi Hannah Bright, we'll help you wherever you are. Please don't worry. So yeah, and Nicola, in terms of posting things to Lincoln, yes, I received a package from India this week, and that reached me fine. So I shouldn't think there'd be too many problems. Jordan, have you had any problems getting packages?
No, I've never had any issues with that. I've been all good.
No, that's
we've got loads and loads of around campus, in and around. There's loads of Amazon lockers as well. Isn't there, another sort of form to be able to sort of send things if you send it. I've done lots of Amazon shopping to different people over lockdown. So there's lots of ways to be able to get things to students, Nicola.
And Lindsay, you're asking about moving in time slots. We've been told that this week they're going to release them by the end of this week, and you'll be able to book your slot, or you'll be allocated a slot, one or the other. Isn't that right, Emma?
That's right. Yeah, you'll be able to book. And what we're asking is those people that live furthest distance. We want to keep clear sort of the 12 till 3 slot in the middle of the day if we possibly can. And just quickly picking on one other question there, if you're moving into accommodation, you will get your student ID cards with your keys, so with your room keys as well.
Yeah, yes, the hello quirk, Sam. Yes, and hello and thank you everyone who's followed us tonight. And please remember the Q&A sessions are still going on, so you can link to the Q&A if you go through the live lounge link there that Darren's just put on the screen. You can go and ask questions, and we've got lots of people from all the courses and from all the different areas. Oh, thanks, Maria. That's really kind of you. We do just want to try and answer questions and help you prepare and reassure you that we're here, and no matter what, we're going to do everything we can to support you when you get here. And you'll find me and Emma around the Minerva building. I know Emma's in Isaac Newton at the moment, but not me. She's in
Move.
You're allowed to move, and you'll probably bump into Jordan. So Jordan, any final words before we say goodnight?
I'd say everyone that's excited to move in, remain being excited. There is so much here to offer. I came through clearing, didn't expect to be here, and it is the absolute most wonderful place. I couldn't imagine myself anywhere else now. So things are different to what you expected, but they will be absolutely wonderful. Promise it.
Thanks. And Emma, any final words?
I don't think so. I think it's just sort of, just be excited and just go with it. I think keep a very open mind about things, and what can go wrong.
Yeah. And thank you so much for joining us. Have a super night, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Thank you ever so much.